Welcome to the 30th anniversary edition of the Abu Dhabi Desert Challenge. The sounds of the empty quarter are set to take centre stage over the next 5 days. Since 1991, the capital of the United Arab Emirates, which boasts some spectacular sights, has been home to one of the most prestigious events in Rally Raid. Over 100 riders and drivers are taking part in this year's Desert Challenge, and His Excellency Araf Hamad Al Awani was delighted to welcome them back after a one-year hiatus. Well, of course, we are delighted to be hosting the 30th edition of the Abu Dhabi Desert Challenge. It's a really special moment for this rally. This event has become very important, and to see that you only have to look at the large number of participants. That includes a host of elite competitors from the world of cross-country. Well, things are hotting up nicely as we head into the penultimate round of the FIA World Cup for cross-country rallies. In the T1 cars, Nasser Al Attiyah leads the way on 61 points after his victories this year in Spain and Morocco. The Qatari 17 points clear of Yazid Al Raji, winner of the Bahrain World Cup. Al Attiyah's chasing a third win at the Abu Dhabi Desert Challenge following his previous successes here in 2008 and 2016.
And to win this event, is very important. We are leader of the championship, and it's very important to win for me and for my team, Toyota Gazoo race, and this will be something special, to win here.
In the T4s, Austin Jones boasts a commanding lead over Case Colan and Eugenio Amos. And Cristina Gutierrez is top of the pile in the T3s after wins on home soil in Andalusia and then Kazakhstan. She is thrilled at the prospect of taking the World Cup crown in her Overdrive OT3.
It's my first time here, so it will be very nice for us. It means a lot. It's like a dream come true, but I need to wait to see realistic and to see how is the race, and I need to have the foot in the floor, because if not, sometimes you fly and you imagine, and you need to be focused on the race.
Gutierrez is joined in Abu Dhabi by teammates Seth Quintero and Guillaume de Mevius, who will both be driving the new OT3 in a separate 2022 conformity class. In the bikes, meanwhile, we already have our world champion. Matthias Walkner secured the crown in Morocco last month. It's the second time he's won the FIM World Championship after 2015. The Austrian is definitely the man to beat.
Of course, feels really good, especially the season so far went on a really good direction, a really good way. And normally the Abu Dhabi Desert Challenge is a super nice race. The desert is super nice, the organization make normally a super good job, so I try to enjoy it.
Walkner is up against the likes of Daniel Sanders, his old Red Bull KTM teammate, now of Gas, while Monster Energy Yamaha have sent Adrian van Beveren, Andrew Short and Ross Branch. Hero Motorsports are also here, represented by Franco Caimi, Sebastian Buhler and Joaquim Rodriguez. But Walkner had the measure of them in the short prologue. He came first, ensuring he would be the last man off the line on stage 1. Well, stage 1 then, over 260 kilometres heading south towards Qasr Al Sarab. 80% of the day's action off-piste, with some tricky drops in the dunes. The 17 riders in the top bikes category, Rally GP, gathering shortly before 9 AM for the first proper day on the sand. The road books, as ever, handed out just before the start. Time to get game faces on. Now, Sanders is facing a battle with Van Beveren to finish second in the World Championship behind Walkner, and the Aussie drew first blood, coming in fully 1 minute and 45 seconds ahead of the Frenchman. This is his first time in Abu Dhabi, so he didn't overdo it. Sanders managing to avoid any crashes or big mistakes as he came fourth, around 3 minutes down on the winner. Franco Caimi has never raced here before either, and he had a lot of fun on stage 1. The Argentine caught Yamaha's Andy Short early on and spent most of the day in the Americans' company. Joaquim Rodriguez and Ross Branch also joined them a bit later on. Caimi pretty happy with his pace as he came third on the day. But two men were a cut above the rest. Walkner showing the same blistering pace that he has all year, no surprises there. He said this stage was only so-so and he was a bit tired towards the end, struggling to keep his focus in the soft sand. However, the 2018 Dakar winner still roared to second place, just 6 seconds off top spot. Not too many people have gone faster than Walkner this year, but Ross Branch is one of them. The Kalahari Ferrari stormed to first place in Kazakhstan ahead of the new world champ. That was at the season opener in June. And he was the quickest in this opening stage. He even caught up to the Kaimi group late in the day. Yamaha putting all three of their factory riders in the top 6.
It was good fun, you know, the dunes are really dangerous in some places, the cut-offs are really big, so I gave myself a few frights, but all in all it was good, you know, the bike's going well, good to be back on the bike, managed to ride with the guys for the last couple of Ks, which makes a big difference, but yeah, I had fun.
Here's how the top 5 line up overall after the opening stage, with Sanders ahead of Kaimi due to a better position in the prologue. World Cup leader Nasser Al-Attiyah ready to roll in the cars. This man always takes some beating over the sand. It's been an up and down year for Yazid Al-Raji. The Saudi had a serious crash at Baha Sharqiya, but he recovered to win the Baha's World Cup. He did have a minor problem with the fuel pressure today, but overall pretty pleased with the performance, around 8 minutes off the pace in 4th. Lucio Alvarez is just behind Al-Raji in the World Cup standings, and he was just ahead of Al-Raji today in 3rd place. The Argentine has been going nicely in 2021, taking victory in Kazakhstan. While Al-Attiyah has a comfortable lead in the World Cup, there are just 6.5 points separating Al-Raji, Alvarez and Denis Krotov in 2nd, 3rd and 4th. That skirmish is likely to continue all the way to the final round in Hael next month. Well, like in the bikes, there was a pretty sizable gap to the top 2. This is Jakub Przonski in his Mini John Cooper Works buggy, stalking through the sand like a zebra in that black and white car. The 2018 World Cup winner found the stage tough with the soft sand and the tricky drops, but he still came second, exactly 3 minutes off the pace. But when Al-Attiyah sets his mind to something, he can be a hard man to stop. In spite of setting off first among the T1 cars, the Qatari roared to the Stage 1 victory. Nasser's a 2-time winner in Abu Dhabi, and he's going for a 5th World Cup crown. He first took part in this event back in the mid-90s, so he certainly knows these dunes. A good job in his own words, as he and co-driver Mathieu Baumel stole an early march on their rivals.
We are so good, you know, but I don't feel really fast, you know, but okay, because we need to find the speed for everybody, and today we know where we are and we can decide tomorrow.
Here's the overall rankings in the T1 cars, already some 9 minutes separating Al-Attiyah in 1st and Krotov down in 5th. Pavel Lebedev is 3rd in the T3 World Cup rankings, and he is still in with a shout of closing the gap. Fresh from his victory in Morocco, the Russian came 3rd on this opening stage within a minute of the day's winner. A fine effort from Saudi driver Salah Al Saif, who's really been making a name for himself over the past year or two. He isn't involved in the World Cup fight, but he would love to go home with the win. Al Saif only 13 seconds off the pace in 2nd place. The Stage 1 honours went to Argentina's Fernando Alvarez, who's driving alongside the experienced Frenchman Xavier Panzeri. Alvarez is Cristina Gutierrez's closest challenger for the World Cup title, just 11.5 points back, and it looks set to be an absolutely fascinating fight over the next few days. Small gaps separating the top 3 in the T3s, but it is still very much early days. Austin Jones is 25 points clear at the top of the T4 World Cup standings, so he can afford to play it smart. The American looking solid in his BRP Maverick, as he and co-driver Gustavo Gugelmin came in 2nd on Stage 1. The runners-up at last year's Dakar won't be easy to overhaul. Mansour Al-Halay made an excellent start. The Emirati is the son of Yahya Al-Halay, who's done every edition of the Abu Dhabi Desert Challenge. He finished in exactly the same time as the day's winner. And that was this man, Marek Goksal, the Pole competing in Abu Dhabi alongside his brother Mikhail, who finished 5th on the day. Marek rewarded for his aggressive approach. We didn't expect this result on the first stage, but we came here with the attitude that we have to start racing properly and targeting the win. We feel that we're done with the learning process. We just want to go faster and faster. Well, here is the top 3 in the T4s after an action-packed first day on the Abu Dhabi Desert Challenge. On to stage 2 then, and there are more thrills and spills in store as we head back to the sounds of the Rub Al Khali Desert. Today's stage, sponsored by ADNOC Distribution, is the longest of the rally, 318 kilometres between Madinat Zayed and Hamim. A tough outing in prospect for the bikers, with some big dunes and nasty drops over the first half of the day's action. This was also a marathon stage, so there would be no assistance back at the bivouac after the finish. Very important for the riders to look after their machines. Ross Branch made a great start to the rally with the stage victory yesterday. As predicted, he was caught by Matthias Walkner today, and they set a furious pace in the latter stages, perhaps too furious. An unfortunate crash in the Fesh Fesh left the man from Botswana with a broken roadbook tower.
We were a bit unlucky, we had a crash 10 k's before the end, and I destroyed everything, and at the end I think the whole roadbook is broken off. There's no way I can fix this.
Most of the riders agreed that it was a gruelling day in the saddle and they had to be super focused to avoid some dangerous drops before the refuelling zone. Daniel Sanders had 2 crashes early in the day and he was thankful for the airbag jacket, which is now compulsory for all riders. The Aussie managed to stay close to Adrian van Beveren and finished the day in 3rd place. Walkner said that he was exhausted after a long and hot stage. The world champion closed a 3-minute gap to Branch, and he said that they were pushing like hell towards the end, trying to stay clear of the chasing Van Beveren. The result was 2nd place on the day, and he now has an overall lead of 2 minutes and 38 seconds. Van Beveren agreed that the dunes were fun but stressful. It was easier in the second part of the stage, but the riders were very much on the limit, both physically and mentally. The Frenchman began the day 5 minutes off the pace, but he closed the gap on Walkner as he stormed to the stage victory. However, there is now the small matter of opening the piste on stage 3.
I'm happy. I did my best. After the refueling was like faster, and I couldn't catch back the leaders. That was my goal today. But anyway, I'm happy. I really pushed as much as I could, and yeah, let's see the next days.
Well, Branch should be able to continue, but it looks like a 3-way battle for victory now between Walkner, Van Beveren and Sanders. 3 quads are competing in Abu Dhabi, and it's the reigning Dakar champion Manuel Andujar who leads by over 40 minutes from the local rider Abdulaziz Akhli.
It's the last race, and then I'm already the world champion, so I can ride a bit different, but of course my goal and my passion is to just be super competitive. My name is Matthias Walkner, I am from Austria and I'm the new world championship in rally riding. It means a lot, especially in 2015 I won it already, but this was like super weird and strange for me because I was quite young and new. But now, after more years, you recognize that is quite hard over one season to have no injuries, be consistent at the races. And finally this year I do a pretty good season. All the races so far went really well, really in the right direction. And I feel super good. I'm super happy that I win again one title. for me is a lot of passion behind there. When I start, I not recognize how beautiful the sport is, the country is, the races, all the images where we can travel around. I really have to be focused, and this is also why I want to give my best, and I don't think on the championship, just give every day my 100%, because it's super important here, especially at this desert, that you are always be really precise on riding.
So Matthias, here is the million-dollar question. Would you rather be the world champion or win another Dakar?
No, of course, if I can choose, the Dakar is the biggest and hardest race what we do, but especially also to win again one other title give you a lot of confidence. But of course, if I can choose, I would choose another Dakar win.
There's nothing like enjoying sunrise in the desert before another tough day of rallying. Nasser Al-Attiyah looking as laid back as ever as he prepared to lead out the T1 cars for the second day running.
Hello.
Lucio Alvarez reckons the important thing in this rally is just don't stop. Keep plugging away and you will stay in contention for the win. The Argentine's looking to move ahead of Yazid Al-Rajhi in the World Cup standings. No mistakes today and a good feeling in the car. He is 17 minutes off the pace. Definitely the best view in the house for these guys. Like many competitors today, Jakub Brzezinski spoke of a tough physical stage. He's getting used to the new car though and enjoying it more. That means that he feels comfortable upping the tempo. Some issues with visibility, but Kuba managed to stay pretty close to Al-Attiyah and finish second. Two days and two-stage victories for the Qatari, who extends his overall lead to 6 minutes. Even an old desert fox like Nasser can learn new tricks in these dunes, and he was happy to keep putting in the kilometres ahead of the Dakar. The Qatari taking another step towards the World Cup crown.
It was not easy day because we take more than 4 hours something, driving, and but okay. It's a good experience, and we learn a lot, and we try to do our best day by day.
The gap's really opening up now in the cars. Only Kuba and Alvarez are within 20 minutes of Al-Attiyah. Cristina Gutierrez is fighting for the T3 crown in the FIA World Cup, but the Spaniard's been hampered by power issues so far. She and Francois Cazelet are being forced to use a different engine in Abu Dhabi compared to the rest of the season, so it's been hard to keep pace with their rivals. They also lost around half an hour in the dunes today. They're currently running third overall. Salah Al Saif considers himself one of the big guns in this category, and the Dakar stage winner's backing up that claim with his performances. The Saudi was second today, and even then he was unhappy with the time that he lost. He is looking forward to going on the attack tomorrow to try to close the gap. Well, here's the man who currently leads the field, Pavel Lebedev. The Russian and his co-driver Kirill Shubin have only been rallying together since the start of 2021, and they actually won on their debut at the Dubai International Baha. Clearly they feel very comfortable on the dunes. They're really flying in that Can-Am Maverick. Lebedev improving from third yesterday to first place today. He is now almost 5 minutes clear at the top of the leaderboard. So it's Lebedev from Al Saif, with Gutierrez sneaking ahead of Fernando Alvarez into third place overall. Marek Goksal is the owner of Poland's biggest theme park, but this week his playground is the desert. After an impressive stage win yesterday, the Pole did lose a few minutes in the dunes, but he is still very much in the frame overall. Third on the stage and second in the standings. Eugenio Amos admitted it was hard to keep focus at times today. Occasionally, he found himself daydreaming about the hamburgers back at the hotel. It was a straightforward day of navigation, and even if they had to do some repairs on the move at one point, they went flat out in the final section to come in second. The Italian is now up to third place overall. It ended up being an excellent day for the World Cup leader Austin Jones. The American kept a good pace throughout the stage. He just had to ease off in the final 10 kilometres due to a bent part. He cruised to the stage victory though and snatched the overall lead.
I'm pretty sure in the overall it's going to be nice for us right now. I mean, it's only day 2, but definitely putting ourselves in the right positions. So yeah, that's what we came to do and I'm happy about it. So hopefully we can keep it going and close this one out with a good result.
Just over 3 minutes separating the top 3 in the T4s. On to stage 3 of the Abu Dhabi Desert Challenge. Over the past few days, the rally settled into its usual headquarters, the magnificent Qasr Al Sarab Desert Resort, providing a perfect launchpad into the dunes. Today's stage, sponsored by the Abu Dhabi Sports Council, sees the competitors cover almost 300 kilometres with some technical sections in the first half. Well, the bikers recovered their machines from the Parc Fermé this morning for part 2 of the marathon stage. Yesterday they only had time for basic repairs before their bikes were locked up for the evening. And there was bad news for Ross Branch, who was still suffering the ill effects of his late crash yesterday, the Yamaha team opting not to send him into the stage this morning.
All in all, a good decision by the team. I've been checked out by the medical crew and everything's okay for tomorrow. So I'll rest up today and we'll get the bike fixed and come back tomorrow for full gas.
Well, this was one of the day's big stories. Debutant Michael Doherty, who's leading the 2nd Division Rally 2 class, posted the fastest time of the day of any rider. The South African even went quicker than the world champion Matthias Walkner. He is set for a bright future in Rally Raid.
I felt very good and comfortable on the bike. This is all just a new experience for me, but no, I'm just loving every second out there, for sure.
Adrian van Beveren had the arduous task of opening the piste. The Frenchman had hoped to stay solo up front, but after about 100 kilometres, he'd been caught by Walkner and Daniel Sanders. The top 3 overall rotating at the front and looking out for each other, which is very much in the spirit of Rally Raid. Van Beveren lost almost 6 minutes. He remains 3rd overall. Walkner has been a model of consistency so far, finishing 2nd on every stage. He made an early navigation mistake and that allowed Sanders to get on his tail. But like Van Beveren, he praised the collaboration between the top 3 as they look to distance the riders behind. A fun day out, but a tricky one. Walkner remains almost a minute ahead in the standings. But when the riders are cruising along together, it is usually safer, but you still have to be so focused in the endless dunes of the empty quarter. Sanders made the most of his starting position to take the stage win, gaining time on Walkner and Van Beveren. He knows opening will be tough, but it should also provide useful experience.
It's a good day, winning day 3, so yeah, it's going to be interesting these last 2 days. I have to open tomorrow and it's going to be, a little bit of pressure on me tomorrow, but I think we can't do much. We just got to open as good as we can and have a solid day and no silly mistakes out front opening.
Van Beveren is now 5 minutes 40 off the pace, with Andy Short and Joaquim Rodriguez over 20 minutes back in 4th and 5th. Now 4 friends who live locally are taking part in the Adventure Trophy class, this rally's answer to Malimoto. Let's meet Maki, Darko, Brett and Tony.
If you have no problems, it's actually a really easy category. Like, you finish at the end of the day, you cross the line, you have a drink, you change oil on your bike, and today Tony's had a crash. I lost a fuel tank, I lost my road book, so I've finished at about half three this afternoon. And what time is it now, 9 o'clock? I don't know, still stuff to do on the bike. We haven't showered, we haven't eaten. That's what rallying in the category should be about.
I'm not sure if I would go on my own. I'm not personally the best mechanic.
This is the 5-star Qasr Al Sarab treatment. There you go. We decided this was the way to do it. It's like the proper way of doing it. You're doing your own maintenance, you're sleeping in the tents. Yeah, it's a tougher way of doing it, but also I think at the end of it, providing we all finish, yeah, we'll have a sense of accomplishment of having done our own maintenance as well.
We spent quite a bit of our free time and lots of money on this hobby, so like sharing these things makes it much more fun and joyful. Yeah. We have quite a lot of banter, some German-related banter, as you can expect. And then obviously Croatian as well. It's, you know, it's just such good banter. And then Brett's English, kind of raised in Scotland. I'm Welsh, so even there you've got, you know, it's kind of, yeah, it's cool.
It always stresses me out. Yesterday I tore it in half and to stick it back together again. How do you do it so quick?
I'm quick. We are like not professional riders or something. We are just weekend warriors that want to take things on a, let's say, another level. Yeah.
I've only been riding off-road for just over a year, so this is a stretch for me. But to see those guys who I followed through Dakar and all these things, and then like seeing them next to me in the paddock and at the start lines is amazing, really cool.
And you always, you know, compare yourself with others. It's a normal, I think, part of the game, but it's also like a positive part because it makes you improve in the things that you like, you know, and enjoy. Yeah?
Nasser Al-Attiyah's mechanics had to fix a cracked brake disc just before stage 3, but no panic for the rally leader. On the contrary, he was set to enjoy another dominant day in the dunes. The World Cup leader flying, both literally and metaphorically, to another stage victory, his third in as many days. Nasser enjoying the more technical terrain where he can demonstrate his unparalleled ability to read the dunes. He extends his overall advantage to 11 minutes and 18 seconds.
I enjoy a lot today. You know, today is a really technical and slow, not fast, and a lot of big dune uphill. You know, today it was good.
Lucio Alvarez is still pushing hard in his Toyota Hilux. The Argentine upped the tempo today after the neutralised sector and came second. For now, he's focused on securing a podium finish in Abu Dhabi before worrying about his World Cup position. But if he can keep this up, he will snaffle second place from Yazid Al-Rajhi, who suffered a broken drive shaft and lost 45 minutes. Jakub Brzezinski not particularly happy with his performance on stage 3. He said that he and co-driver Timo Gottschalk never found their rhythm. No particular problems, it was just one of those days. They lost 5 minutes to Al-Attiyah, but they remained second overall. Al-Attiyah is looking in excellent shape, but Brzezinski is ready to pounce if the Qatari runs into any trouble. Pavel Lebedev had a tough time opening for the T3s on stage 3. The Russian began the day with an overall lead of almost 5 minutes, but by the end of it, he had been knocked off top spot. Still, he is very much in the mix, and he's set to move up to second in the World Cup standings after Fernando Alvarez ran into trouble. Cristina Gutierrez is the World Cup leader, and she was happy with today's outing. The Overdrive OT3 team have finally solved the engine problems that have been plaguing the Spaniards since the start of the rally. A clear run as she came second, just 11 seconds behind the winner. And that was Salah Al Saif, who stormed to the stage victory and grabbed the overall lead from Lebedev. The Saudi said that taking part in rallies at home and abroad has helped to improve him as a driver. And he now finds himself leading the Abu Dhabi Desert Challenge by just 2 seconds. Praise be to God, today's stage was very good for us. I managed to snatch the overall lead from the Russian driver, and we did the stage in a very good time. I would say that it is all down to my international experience. It's as close as you like between Al Saif and Lebedev, with Gutierrez at 26 minutes back in third. Now, Austin Jones knew that he was going to lose time in the T4s today, so he tried to be smart. The American just keeping a consistent pace throughout and, in his own words, not doing anything crazy. He did drop around 6 minutes and relinquished the overall lead. Mansour Al-Halay's hopes of victory took a hit due to a 14-minute penalty. Otherwise, the Emirati put in another fine performance. He only dropped 2 minutes as he finished in second place. It's hardly surprising to see the local boy looking so comfortable over these dunes. He drops down to 5th place overall, nearly half an hour off the pace. Well, Al-Halay found himself in a Polish sandwich as Marek Goksal took his second stage win of the rally. Aaron Domzala was in third. The Kobant Energylandia rally team doing a fantastic job so far. Goksal now leads Jones by over 3.5 minutes overall. Today was a bit like the first stage. I took to it like a duck to water. Great driving with short and narrow roads, lots of twists and turns. It was my favourite stage so far, and now I'm just happy to be here at the finish. Case Colin is lying third in the T4s, some 19 minutes back. The helicopters hitting the skies again for stage 4, as well as filming the rally. These choppers are vital for providing rapid medical assistance.
Abu Dhabi Desert Challenge mission is to be search and rescue for all the riders and drivers out in the field. Anytime a rider or driver crashes and they have an alarm on their machine, we then get dispatched with 2 doctors, 2 paramedics and myself from our position to their position. Then they secure the scene, make sure the patient is stable for transport, load them onto the helicopter, and continue their treatment of the patient en route to the hospital.
Well, this stage was sponsored by Abu Dhabi Aviation and there was set to be a fast start, but there weren't as many dunes on the menu as in previous days, a total of 252 kilometres to cover. The end of the road for Andrew Short in the bikes. It's been a pretty forgettable rally for the American, who has struggled to find his confidence over the dunes. Today, he was let down by his Yamaha.
Something stopped in the motor, it seems like, and this was the race for me. This is how it goes. These conditions are really tough in the sand on the bike, and I'm happy that I'm safe and didn't get hurt.
The rest of the elite bikers preparing to get underway just before 8 a.m. Daniel Sanders was set to open after his win yesterday, while Short's teammate Ross Branch was back in action, having missed stage 3 because of illness. Well, unfortunately, Sebastian Bühler suffered a nasty injury on this stage. The hero rider crashed at kilometre 158 and had to be airlifted to hospital with a broken femur. Luckily, Sean Campbell and his team were quickly on the scene. Bühler had been running 6th overall, and we wish him a speedy recovery. Sanders said his outing went surprisingly well, considering that he had to open. A minor mistake after the first checkpoint allowed Matthias Walkner to catch up at kilometre 100. The duo then cruised their way through a fast and flowing stage. Sanders keeps hold of 2nd place overall, and he'll be in a good position to attack tomorrow, having come 4th on the day. Well, Joaquim Rodriguez has been struggling with illness this week, but he woke up feeling better today and posted his best result in 3rd. The hero man was joined by Adrian van Beveren, who is one of the best over the dunes. He stayed with the Frenchman all the way to the finish line, J-Rod in 4th overall. Walkner pulling his trick of finishing 2nd once again on a stage that he really enjoyed. He and Sanders pushed each other throughout the second half of the day, which meant they limited their losses to the charging Van Beveren behind. Walkner, runner-up for the 4th time on the rally, he heads into the final day with a lead of almost 4 minutes. Van Beveren attacked hard at the start, and at one point he was threatening Walkner's lead, but he then lost a bit of time on the rolling tracks in the valleys. He won the stage, meaning that he will open on stage 5, and he'll probably have to settle for 3rd place overall. Above all though, he is delighted to be back to his best. I'm really happy with how I'm feeling. I'm relaxed and I'm going full gas. It feels really good. This is a crazy sport that we do, but it feels so good. The top three separated by under 5 minutes, with Aaron Mare moving into the top 5 over an hour off the pace. Meanwhile, a new leader in the quads, local rider Abdulaziz Akhli, who's set to win the class after major mechanical issues for Manuel Andujar.
My competitors, they already have a lot of penalties, so once I saw him out, I took it easy and slow. I just want to finish right now. I need to make sure that I'll make it to Yas tomorrow, hopefully.
Jakub Brzezinski has stayed within touching distance of the leader Nasser Al-Attiyah in the cars, but the pole was undone by a broken drive shaft on stage 4. He ended up losing over 2 hours, a real shame for the 2018 World Cup winner, who's had decent pace in Abu Dhabi.
We broke the drive shaft and then we had to stop because it was not possible to go with one-wheel drive, and we had to fix it, then we were stuck and a lot of things happened, but in the end it's good that we are here. We had in the end good stage with good speed today, but not a good.
Denis Krotov and Konstantin Jiltsov say they are starting to understand their car. It's the first time together in the buggy and they're happy to be gaining more experience here in Abu Dhabi. A trouble-free run today left them in 3rd place. They are also 3rd in the overall standings. Lucio Alvarez found it tough going at the start with some difficult dunes and navigation. He also lost a bit of air in the rear tyre in the final 20k, which slowed him down a bit. Otherwise, it was an excellent day as he came 2nd. Brzezinski's loss was the Argentine's gain. Well, I think that today Cuba had some problems, and that means that we're going to move up to 2nd place overall. It's good because we'll improve our position in the World Cup rankings as well, and we're happy because if everything goes well tomorrow, we'll finish on the podium. Nasser Al-Attiyah enjoyed the variety of today's stage with sand, dunes and fast tracks. He briefly trailed Brzezinski at one point, but powered clear in the final part of the stage to win by over 2 minutes. His overall advantage grows to 23 minutes 48 seconds. He's one stage away from winning the Abu Dhabi Desert Challenge for the 3rd time. Nasser still with a comfortable lead then. Alvarez is the only driver within 1 hour of the Qatari. Disaster for Pavel Lebedev. The Russian was leading the T3s overnight but couldn't set off today because of an engine problem. That means that he won't get to add to his victory in Morocco last month. Annette Fischer has had plenty of ups and downs on this rally, but she posted an excellent time today. The German, who's joined in her Can-Am Maverick by former Dakar winner Lurival Roldan, finished in 3rd, around half an hour down on the day's winner. In spite of some pretty heavy penalties on stage 2, they're sitting 4th in the class. Fernando Alvarez had huge problems yesterday, getting stuck in the dunes with a broken drive shaft. He was forced to abandon the stage for safety reasons. Today, however, went perfectly as he missed the stage win by just 20 seconds. Yesterday, the Argentine said he wanted to kill himself. Today, he wanted to kiss himself. But one car is absolutely dominating in the T3s, that of Salah Al Saif, who picked up another stage victory today. Saif means sword in Arabic, and there's no doubt that the Saudi's been absolutely slicing his way through these dunes. He leads by over an hour with 1 stage to go. Cristina Gutierrez held on to 2nd place in spite of hitting a dead camel today, and she is set to extend her lead in the World Cup standings. There's a great battle unfolding over in the T4s. The overall leader, Marek Goksal, had some engine problems today, which meant he lost around 9.5 minutes. He was also the first T4 off the start line, so navigation was a bit tricky. He slips down to 2nd overall, but he's only a minute off top spots. Austin Jones goes back to the top of the leaderboard after another solid day. The American wasn't quick enough to take the stage victory, but 3rd place was enough to regain the overall lead. Having won in Spain and Kazakhstan earlier this year, he can now secure his 3rd win of 2021, and he's closing on the World Cup crown. Mikhail Goksal, Marek's brother, has had various problems in this rally, but he finally enjoyed a clean run today. He said the trick was changing the suspension overnight to find a better setup for the sand and the dunes. Mikhail came in second on the stage. He lies 8th overall. The stage victory went to Eugenio Amos, who lost an hour and a half in yesterday's stage due to mechanical issues. The Italian absolutely ripping through the field to win by over 4 minutes. Even if he was disappointed with yesterday's setbacks, Amos had a lot of fun cruising over these dunes.
We had nothing to lose as we lost so much time yesterday trying to repair the car. We had lots of glory to gain. So we gave it all, and I think it was a very good stage for us.
1 minute and 1 second in it, Jones and Goksal are set for a fascinating final day showdown.
Happy birthday to Abu Dhabi Desert Challenge.
Happy birthday, Abu Dhabi Desert Challenge.
Happy birthday.
Happy to be here for the 30th.
Happy birthday!
Happy birthday, Abu Dhabi Desert Challenge.
I look forward to the next 30 years and a really good 30 years.
The 5th and final stage of this anniversary edition is sponsored by the Yas Marina circuit. Spectacular dunes on the menu, as well as a few late twists. Well, one important point for the bikes was that there was no refuelling point today, and with over 200 kilometres to cover in the sand, fuel management was going to be crucial. Adrian van Beveren set to open and looking to close the 1 minute gap on Daniel Sanders.
Last race of being a rookie, so 1 year practice, next year restart.
Well, it's been an excellent rally for the Australian, an excellent season in fact, but he was set to suffer a bitterly disappointing day in the saddle. The fuel turned out to be the key. Sanders got slightly turned around at one point, which meant riding a few extra kilometres through the dunes, and heartbreakingly, he ran out of fuel within sight of the finish line. The Gas rider had been set to finish second, both in Abu Dhabi and in the World Championship, but it all came undone just 500 metres from the end of this final rally. Try as he might, Sanders was unable to avoid some heavy penalties, dropping to 12th place overall, but you can guarantee that he'll be determined to bounce back at the Dakar. Well, his loss was Adrian van Beveren's gain. The Yamaha rider took his third win of the rally to finish second in Abu Dhabi and in the World Championship. Like most riders, the Frenchman was wary of using up fuel and he didn't take any crazy risks. He's delighted to be back on top form ahead of the Dakar. But this man has been practically flawless this week, even if he didn't win a stage. Matthias Wagner giving a masterclass in rally management, riding with speed and intelligence. He also eased off today to make sure he reached the finish, yet again coming second on the day. Wagner won the Silkway Rally and he wins the Abu Dhabi Desert Challenge, a fitting way for the world champion to round out the season.
I was really good one, especially I think I can improve a lot with riding in the desert. The bike works really good. I'm happy overall and feels good now to win the last race before Dakar.
Joaquim Rodriguez completed the podium for Hero, with Aaron Mare and Konrad Dąbrowski rounding out the top 5. Abdulaziz Akhli claimed victory in the quads, the Emirati overcoming a finger problem to win by a handsome margin from today's winner Rafael Sonic and Manuel Andujar.
Feel good, you know, it's the end of the race. You arrive here, feel finally all your hard work got paid. I feel proud that I made my country up in this race. Came alhamdulillah first, so alhamdulillah, very happy.
Akhli won the battle, but Andujar won the war. He is the 2021 World Cup winner in the quads. Humans rarely venture into these barren stretches of the empty quarter, but the local caravan have had a few companions in recent days. Denis Krotov will be pretty pleased with his Abu Dhabi Desert Challenge. The Russian was trying out the buggy for the very first time and he managed to steer it to third place overall. There's no doubt that he and Konstantin Jiltsov can improve things in the car, but they still earned a place on the podium. Lucio Alvarez was very happy with his week and spent the last 40 kilometres today cruising over the dunes with Nasser Al-Attiyah. The Argentine won the final stage, meaning he did just enough to keep the World Cup fight alive. He could theoretically overhaul the Qatari with a flawless run in Khayyal next month. Al-Attiyah and Mathieu Baumel will therefore be heading to Saudi Arabia in a few weeks to try to secure the crown. In the meantime, they played it smart today to ensure their overall victory, which they can add to success in Andalusia earlier this year.
I am quite happy to win every time, you know, and everywhere. If you need to win, you need to work very hard, you know, and all together, you know, from the team, from the crew, and from the sponsor, all the support. 3 times winning in Abu Dhabi Rally, yes, and it was amazing.
Yazid Al-Raji and Sebastian Halpern making up the top 5. Well, perhaps the most interesting contest of the day was to be found in the T4s. There was plenty of drama on this final day. Kees Kolen was running 3rd overall and 2nd in the World Cup, but the Dutchman was waylaid by a broken upright and lost an hour and a half. That dropped him to 6th overall and ended his hopes of overhauling Austin Jones in the World Cup standings. Marek Goksal needed to make up just over a minute on Jones to win the rally, but the Pole also ran into a bit of trouble in the dunes. He dropped over 10 minutes to the American, and that meant he had to be content with 2nd place overall. The Goksal family have ambitions of claiming a 1-2-3 in this category at the Dakar, once Marek's 16-year-old son Eric is old enough to drive. It was a day of double celebration for Austin Jones as he won the rally and secured the overall World Cup crown. The American praised the phenomenal work of his co-driver Gustavo Gugelmin. They've won in Andalusia, Kazakhstan and now in Abu Dhabi. Their teammate Aaron Domzala won the final stage and he was waiting at the finish line with the bubbly.
It's been crazy. It's been a rough year. It's been really, really hard to, you know, do these races and win these races. So, really happy to be here, and yeah, I can't believe it. I'm stoked.
Jones winning from Goksal by 11 minutes and 38 seconds. 2 Polish crews in the top 3. Now, local rider Mansour Al-Halay finished just off the podium in 4th place in the T4s. Let's find out a little bit more about the Emirati, who has the Abu Dhabi Desert Challenge in the blood. I had no choice but to take up motor racing. I always had the desire to race because I grew up surrounded by the sports. I've watched my father compete since I was a young boy, until I was old enough to get in the car myself. I always dreamed about racing and competing. Praise be to God, I took part in my 30th edition of the Abu Dhabi Desert Challenge this year. 30 years in this rally. I have been lucky enough to drive with some fantastic drivers, world champions from Europe. Unfortunately, I retired from this edition due to engine and mechanical problems, but these things happen in motorsports. God willing, Mansour will make up for my loss by getting onto the podium. I began competing in the Abu Dhabi Desert Challenge in 2010 as a co-driver for my father. That was the only way for me to take part in the rally. He has taught me a great deal, showed me a lot of things about rallies, but I have to be honest, I didn't really enjoy it. I didn't just want to be an assistant. So the following year I decided to compete as a driver, and that therefore became my objective. God willing, I will keep the name of Al Hilal alive in the world of rally raid. I want to keep going in this discipline. I enjoy competing and I'll try to improve and develop my performances.
The new driver for UAE, inshallah, he will be number one, inshallah.
Abu Dhabi Desert Challenge, happy birthday on its 30th year and more to come.
We round out this anniversary edition with the T3s. Fernando Alvarez was looking good until a broken drive shaft on stage 3, but the Argentine still managed to finish on the podium. He loses some ground to Cristina Gutierrez in the World Cup rankings, but it ain't over till it's over. They will duke it out for top spot in Jael next month. Gutierrez has had all sorts of interesting problems this week, not the least of which was hitting a dead camel in the dunes yesterday. But in spite of it all, the Spaniard comes away with a very solid result of second place overall. That keeps her in pole position in the World Cup standings. She and Francois Cazelet finally had a smooth outing today as they won the stage. Salah Al Saif had already built up a practically unassailable lead. He just had to make it safely through to the finish today. The Saudi's done an excellent job in his first participation in Abu Dhabi with the help of his Russian co-driver Igor Okhotnikov. Al Saif said it was a tough rally, but he made it look easy as he won by 47 minutes. Here's how the T3s lined up. Thanks very much for joining us for the Abu Dhabi Desert Challenge 2021, and we'll see you again in 2022.